So heading into week 6, no Derek Carr, definitely for 1 week, possibly longer. So I guess it's time for me to introduce um, a new segment to the show, which is basically Smart or Saints. I'm Tim. Let's talk Saints. Basically, Smart or Saints. Um, I have a predisposed notion that lately, when it comes down to decision making, it's with the Saints, it's always two categories: Smart or Saints. And too many times lately, the Saints have been going with the Saints decision, which is obviously the incorrect one. And now we're at a moment in time right now where we need to find a starting quarterback for a game we must win. Sunday is a must win scenario. Period. In the story. I have more to say on that matter, but it's going to come later in the week. But for right now, trying to figure out how you're going to win that game. Here's the basic decision: who's starting their quarterback? Let's break it down. Are we talking Smart or Saints? And for all intents and purposes, I've been saying this for a while that Haener is a near rookie. He's very close to a rookie. He's got 1 year of experience in the league, which gives him a slight advantage over Rattler. But for the most part, no practical, real time experience playing against a real time NFL defense and a real time NFL game situation. So they're both kind of, as far as that, in the same boat. So I will probably refer to both of them as rookies based on that context. So even though I know Haener's a second year guy, and as far as preparation and stuff around game day and everything else, he's does have a year jump on Rattler. How much of a difference that makes in what we're going to talk about, I don't have a clue, but I'm sure somewhat. The other thing I've said about both of them is I do believe they can both develop into some semblance of a starting NFL quarterback, if not a very good one, if not really, in the case of Rattler, having an unlimited ceiling until we see how it all shakes out. So that being said, when you're going to start a rookie quarterback in the NFL, it's really two things you have to consider. First one is pre-snap. Now, in this video, I know it's a baseball movie, but I'm going to invoke a couple quotes by Crash Davis, uh, the Kevin Costner character. And the first one is he famously said, "We're dealing with a lot of shit here." If you're a rookie quarterback in the NFL pre-snap, that's exactly what you're doing. Because just off the top of my head, I made a running list of stuff every quarterback has to deal with before the snap of the ball. So you're getting the play call. That's first. You better understand what it is. Any problem right then and there about you're already in serious trouble. After you get the play call in, you got get in and out of the huddle with all 11 players on the same page with enough time on the play clock to be able to walk up to the line of scrimmage where you're going to have to read a defense. You're going to have to make any side adjustments right there, if not, in fact, audible if you're allowed to, because some teams won't allow rookies to even go down that route. I have a feeling we have two guys that would be capable of it, but still, it's a possibility. You damn sure better understand the protection in front of you and also understand what the defense is trying to do, because you're a rookie quarterback. Defense is trying to do is welcome to the NFL rookie type moments. They're going to want to get to you and they're going to want to hit you. They want to do that to quarterbacks anyway, but they really want to get in a rookie's head as fast as they can. No big secret there, right? Once you understand protection, what the defense is trying to do, both pass rush, defending the pass, and the run. Remember, there's really kind of three phases to this. Got all that handled. Then comes the snap, which you must clearly receive. And here's the really tricky part that I think a lot of people don't realize. While you're handling the snap, you also have to start processing what the defense is doing post-snap, because what they showed you pre-snap isn't necessarily what they're going to do after the snap. In fact, in the modern day of the NFL, one of the reasons why, since 2020, overall passing stats have doing this is one, A, defenses are designed to try to stop that. But two, defenses are, you know, for the longest time, even in the height when this offensive burst started happening, early 2000 teens, late 2000s, '08, '09, in that area when this explosion started, still a lot of teams trying to play base personnel, base defense as long as they could, limited substitutions, normally in nickel and dime situations where you might put an extra pass rusher in, or you're pulling a linebacker off the field to defensive back, stuff like that. But for the most part, if you were going to go back and look at snap counts from 10 plus years ago, those 11 had most of the percentage. Go look at what they are now and how much defenses freely substitute to deal with different personnel groupings, different down and distance. Talked a little bit about it the last week about situational football. A lot of teams play it. There's teams out there that don't have 3 down linebackers on their whole. You can look, and the linebacker with the most snaps is about 70 to 80% of the total defensive snaps. And they're using 4 and 5 linebackers, and they're running basically a 4-2-5 or at best a 4-3. You don't see very many odd man fronts anymore, but when you do, there's pretty much like dedicated edge rushers in passing situations and more of a guys that play the run. So modern NFL. They're going to want to do that to you. And then even if they're showing, hey, we've got our run package in, they're still going to go, well, these guys might try to throw the ball because we got the run defenders in and less of the pass defenders. So what's the next thing they're going to do? Well, they're going to try to disguise coverages, split coverages. Is it man or zone? Showing it one way before the snap and then seeing something entirely different after the snap. Even veteran quarterbacks who've been around a while, and look, we have one of them in that category in Carr. You could still even confuse the hell out of them. There's Mahomes, maybe a few other guys that stuff doesn't bother them, but that's a whole different elite level of quarterback. So what you have to base this on is the more than likely outcome that any NFL rookie, for right now at best, you're hoping you get what you can get out of your average NFL starter. And I don't mean averages in their production. I mean the typical non-elite quarterbacks that are mostly around the NFL. So when you get to that rookie part on all that pre-snap and what I just went through, that was kind of a list I made off the top of my head. I know there's way more involved than that. And a lot of the stuff that's involved in that happens before they even show up on game day. It's all this stuff in practice and in meeting rooms and game planning going in, which is where we're going to talk about it next. So you're starting a rookie. You have to, as a coaching staff, as an organization, everybody has to realize by virtue of being a rookie, until they can get out there and experience everything and prove to you, yes, I can handle more, I can do more in the offense. You have to scale it down to what they can do and avoid what they can't do. And you starts off with recognizing right off the bat, what can they do and what can't they do, so I can do the stuff they can do well, give us a chance to win, and avoid the stuff he struggles with, so I don't put him in continuous bad positions that he doesn't have a chance to succeed. And there are some shining examples recently in the NFL because I've been called out for this in the comments and never really responded to it because I knew sooner or later this video was coming. If you know you're going to start a rookie quarterback, and acknowledge it as soon as you're aware of it and start doing everything you can to give him a chance to succeed as a rookie till he starts figuring stuff out and you can treat him less like a rookie and more like a veteran, you got a shot. And for the longest time, too many teams, and this still happens today, it happened last year, and we'll get to that in a second. But too many times they get the rookie, they look at his ability, and they go, we got this. Plug him in the offense and let's go, just like we would an 8-year free agent veteran quarterback with similar talent. You're not going to get the same result. Too many teams, the list of failed rookies, bust. People label them bust, like there's something wrong with them. And it is possible it is on them because they didn't do the stuff they were supposed to do. But nobody ever acknowledges that the organization never coached them, game planned, schemed, anything to give them a chance to succeed, even if they were doing what they were supposed to do. I think both situations exist, and I think a lot of times it's probably a combination of both. But when you got to start a rookie, well, you got to make sure he has to do what he has to do. But as the coaching staff and the organization, you have to do what you have to do. And we're going to start in 2022. I think I've told the story here. We'll tell it again. I'm going to paraphrase and try to get through it pretty quick. Because Shanahan had to start Brock Purdy. And that story really starts in the offseason, in the pre-draft process, because there was a guy by the name of Bobby Slowick, it's quarterback coach, passing game coordinator type guy, who saw Purdy and went, holy crap, this kid can play. And nobody else in the league had him really high on the draft board, if at all. And as the draft progressed, depending on what version of the story you hear, he was either adamantly championing Purdy or possibly about ready to get physical in the war room with guys going, we need to get this Purdy kid, to the point where people in the organization supposedly were like, look, we'll just sign him as an undrafted free. Nobody's interested in this guy. And Slowick's going, no. Somebody else may know about him. We need him. Fast forward into training camp, once he was drafted as Mr. Irrelevant, the last guy taken in the draft, as the story goes, Kyle Shanahan meets with Lynch, the GM, and goes, we have a problem. Lynch is like, what's the problem? Best quarterback on our roster is the kid we drafted in the last round and the last pick, Mr. Irrelevant. Lynch is like, well, what's the problem? He was your best quarterback. Because Shanahan was basically taking an approach, well, it's going to create problems. We got Garoppolo. We got the first round pick in Trey Lance. And the best guy is the guy nobody's talking about. And Lynch is like, no problem. Get him ready to play. If he gives us the best chance to win, we'll get him on the field. Don't worry about all that other stuff. I'm going to take the heat for it. I'm the GM. Now, what it ended up turning out is both the other guys got hurt and they had to go with Purdy, but they were already making the decision process then going, we have to alter mid-course and get this kid ready to play because he's our best option to win football games. Proved to be true because they were one Brock Purdy injury away from making the NFC Championship game that year. Bobby Slowick picked up on that stuff because when he showed up in Houston last year in 2023, they drafted C.J. Stroud second. And he basically did the same thing. It's like, we're going to design everything. The head coach had come over from the Frisco organization. He saw what happened with Purdy. They gave him all the support in the world. We're going to get ready to start a rookie. We're going to do it from the jump, day one. We're going to start before we even draft said rookie because we know we're getting one of the two. Fast forward to this year. Cliff Kingsbury in Washington was getting Jaden Daniels from the jump. Hey, let's get ready to run the rookie quarterback. Sean Payton knew he was getting one, and I do believe he wanted Bo Nix, but doesn't really matter. Sean Payton did something I never thought Sean Payton would ever do, which is completely revamp his offense to fit a rookie quarterback. Seems to be working. They're all doing the same thing. Redesign, be prepared, make sure we've got the offensive line, the receivers, everything on the same page, ready to go to support this kid while we run an offense he can handle. And I'm sure the game plan on all of them is to eventually move him into what we're going to need him to do in the future to continue this trajectory up and see if we can't actually turn this promising rookie into our franchise quarterback. Shane Waldron with Caleb Williams, who started a little slow, and I think that was a little by design. And granted, this is all small sample sizes, 5 games or less, or 5 games. But it looks like Williams is starting to pick up some steam in Chicago. And O'Connell looked like he had J.J. McCarthy also ready to go before McCarthy's injury. Still a small sample size. We don't know how this is going to turn out, but what we can say with all these guys, they're preparing their quarterbacks to go win football games as rookies. Got to recognize it, that you're starting a rookie. There's going to be limitations. There's going to be upside. You got to recognize them both. Scheme, game plan, play call, everything around that. So the real question is we're going with, again, I'm just going to call them 2 rookie quarterbacks. One of them has to start Sunday. So we're going to go Smart or Saints. And if it comes straight up to Kubiak/Janoko, I'm feel confident they would vote Smart. But of the usual suspects that have been jacking with this team, and it looks like it's starting to happen again based on the recent decline in the last 3 weeks, DA, Loomis, anybody else in the front office is going to pull the Saints thing. And for some reason, not start the one of the two that gives the best chance to win, and also not do the things they need to do going into this week to prepare him, to put him in the best position possible to win a football game. Well, that would be what the Saints typically do. I'm praying they go Smart. I am scared to death they're going to go Saints. So that's pretty much pre-snap, and even before pre-snap, because I really did take that conversation all the way back to when you know you're starting the rookie, even if it's the day the league opens, because you have one of the top picks. And then you got to worry about what happens post-snap. And this kind of segueing right into what we were talking about game planning, scheme, what you're putting around them. But when it comes right down to it, when you look at all the successful rookie quarterbacks we've seen over the past few years, when they're put in the right position, because my shining example of a poor kid who was put in the wrong position, and I will never know how good he could or couldn't be, is Bryce Young, because from the jump, all the stuff we were talking about, that could have happened with him last year in Carolina. It didn't, and it looks like it's not happening again this year in Carolina because they're already going to Dalton. But if you're starting a rookie quarterback, one thing, this is going back to Burrow, even kind of when he showed up in 2020 as part of this, mobility and arm talent. Bottom line. You got to have that combination of both, because along with pretty good and pretty quick decision making, which I think when you're mobile and you have good arm talent, if you're a little off on said decision making, you can kind of have the athletic ability to recover. You just can't be off by a lot and make the huge mistakes. And even veteran quarterbacks do that. I mean, we can point out the interception that Carr threw, and you just can't do what he did. And you have to avoid your rookies doing that. And it's probably a lot smaller margin of error for them. But they can move around the pocket a little bit, or even to have the ability to tuck it and run and get out of some bad spots and kind of advance the ball that way while protecting themselves. You can use that also to play off the pass. And all these quarterbacks, like I said, we were talking about, even Bryce Young, all had that ability. It's hard to be a rookie and be a statue. I look at both of our backups. Clearly, Rattler, more mobile, better arm talent. But Haener's a little more mobile, at least than Carr is, and you have something to work with. Kind of from the jump, I think you're kind of leaning towards Rattler on this. I mean, it's you can design the offense, and basically the offense is kind of already designed for the fact that while Carr does have some limited mobility, and he definitely has arm talent when things are going right for him, it's not quite the same. And I think either one of these two guys will give you an option to be a little more mobile, moving pockets, design rollouts, design runs. They're a little better suited to that kind of stuff for Carr. Carr's more suited to like sit in the pocket, maybe slightly move the pocket, throw the ball, like he did on the long pass to Shaheed Monday night. Because I think one of the ways you win with rookie quarterbacks, or you give yourself a chance to win, I should say, you force the defense to defend 11, which is it's kind of the running theme in the NFL right now when it comes to defenses. And you can look at our defense. We can't defend 11. We can do 10 all day long. But you start making that quarterback a weapon, we struggle. See Monday night. That puts a position of what the defense is trying to dictate to the offense or confuse your quarterback, pulls a little bit back, because now they got to think, hey, this kid can always tuck it in and run it. If he tucks it and run it at the right time, could gash us. It could hurt. Well, then we have to start defending him. Then that allows other stuff to open. You're going to have to go in with that philosophy if you want to win Sunday, that offense design now. Frisco did a little bit of that with Purdy. Taylor did some of that with Burrow when he got started. You can obviously look around with the guys that are going right now. They're all mobile. They may not be true running threats, but they're all mobile. And if you're not defending 11, all three of them will hurt you bad. That's the mentality that the Saints have to walk into this game, and for however long they don't have Carr. And the most important thing is, and here's another Crash Davis, the second quote: "Don't think, kid, you only hurt the team. You have to put them in the position. I mean, a veteran quarterback, you're expecting to, and I think, and probably most of that's react because they have the experience and they've seen it all before. So they're not actually thinking, just muscle memory and reaction time of I've seen this before in my 10 years of playing in the leagues. I know what's going on. They haven't. And so you don't want them to get caught off guard and go, wait, what is that? And they're thinking. And if they're thinking, they're slowing down, they're not making quick decisions, it's going to affect a lot of their play. You're going to just have to design an offense that sometimes they're either tucking it and running it, they're throwing it quick. Again, if the decision's a little slow and a little off, hopefully their talent can overcome it until they can kind of figure it out. But you can't, I wouldn't say it's impossible not to keep dropping them back in the pocket like we're doing. We tend to do with Carr and expect good results, but I think you're asking an awful lot if that's your game plan going in. Again, Kubiak and Janoko, I think, know that. Smart. The other decision makers and the influence on this in any way, shape, or form, again, based on previous examples, especially what we've seen the last few weeks, I would expect Saints. So pre-snap and post-snap, let's hope they go smart. So ultimately, we're boiling down to, is it Rattler or is it Haener? I'm going to start off with the assumption because, again, this maybe Haener has a slight advantage over preparation all the way to pre-snap. He's been in the league a year longer, but I don't know that, and that's an educated guess. But I'm going to operate under the assumption they're both equal at that, or close enough to equal that. What you're going to really talk about is who's the more mobile, who has the best arm talent to run the post-snap offense we're talking about, and it's clearly Rattler. I don't know for sure. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who know, hey, if we start Rattler, we're going to win because blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't know that. I don't think they do either. We'll find out. But the whole point of this whole conversation, the whole everything, to be smart and not be Saints, do all the stuff. And I know it's a short week and you got a lot to do, but you got to get it done. You got to get him ready, whatever which one it is. And I'm going to lean towards Rattler, and I'll tell you why in a second. Is put all the stuff in place the best you can to give him the best opportunity to succeed. And I can promise you, trying to run the offense exactly like you would run it with a 10-year veteran like Derek Carr is Saints. Get these guys in the position where they can do what they do well, where they're not thinking, they're playing, they're relying on more mobility than they give you Carr. And in one case, a guy with equal or possibly better arm talent than Carr, which again, I think as long as he can handle all the stuff starting when Carr was announced out, from game planning and everything else to the time he has to take the first snap of the first play that he's in there. Those things are equal, then I got to lean Rattler. And we very limited sample size in preseason on both of them. And let's be honest, preseason ain't real. It's a good indicator of a lot of stuff, and probably more so to the coaching staff than us watching. But for those of us watching, when you do watch and you look at some of the unbelievable stuff that Rattler can do, and this is why I'm leaning towards Rattler, because watching it on TV is one thing. One time I saw all three of them and again, it wasn't real because it was a practice, but the last open practice to the fans, I'm watching Rattler do some unbelievable shit. It's going, man, you wouldn't expect a rookie to do that. Is he going to make rookie mistakes? Hell yeah. Carr's making veteran mistakes right now. What's the diff when you're in the situation the Saints are right now? I just got to lean on the guy that things go a little south. He might still be able to bail you out because he can run. He's very mobile. And he could throw the living hell out the football. I mean, it comes to that. So long as he avoids truly horrendously bad decisions, and as long as we keep him out of truly horrendous bad positions, and I think he's our best shot, honestly. Give me a thumbs up if you're thinking it's Rattler. And I think most people are thinking along the lines. I will clearly say that I think Haener is the best version of the backup quarterbacks right now. Like, he's the guy you want to come in that situation in Kansas City when somebody gets hurt, not you guy with likely more upside and promise. You want to give him the chance to start the game clean. But push comes to shove. Yeah, we're in a desperate straits right now. You have to put on the field who gives you the best chance to win. And here's my biggest fear in our smart or Saints conversation. So many times I think the Saints make the Saint decision instead of the smart one. Is there's people in various stages of control of the organization, from top management down to the head coach, that sometimes makes decisions based more on ego and not wanting to admit they were wrong than what the smart decision would be, which, hey, we screwed up, mea culpa, we're sorry, we're going to go about fixing it right now. And one of the ways we're going to do that is fill in the blank. Come right out and admit, hey, we weren't as smart as we thought we were. We were saints. Quit being saints. Be smart in those situations. I could go into a long diatribe why I think they would push for Haener over Rattler. It's just based on gut feeling, just watching the way they've operated over the last few years. So I'm going to let you fill in the blanks so I can avoid walking down a road I don't want to walk down. But I think you hear what I'm screaming on this. I think it'd be a true test of some of the decision makers in this organization. Again, assuming like Haener isn't light years ahead of all the prep pre-snap stuff that we're talking about, because and I find it hard to believe he is, really. If there's an advantage there, I would think it's slight. So my thing, let's give Rattler the chance. Let's build the offense the way we need to build it for him. Let's see if he can't go win a game. We must win on Sunday. Ultimately, that's what this whole thing's about. Drop the comments. I know they're coming on this one, and it should be, because it's a lightning topic situation. But I have a gut feeling most people are going to say, yeah, we do. All things being equal, Rattler probably gives us the best chance to win a game, and we absolutely have to win that game Sunday. So let me know what you think. If it's your first time here, please go ahead, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the notifications. For the rest of the week, schedule is, of course, going to be the wrap up for the week show about what's going on in the Tampa Bay. And that one, I'm going to try to wait to see if they actually name a starter. Knowing the Saints, they freaking won't. But at some point, I think it's going to come out. It may even be this afternoon after practice. That's the starting point for everything on trying to figure out what we're going to do and how we're going to beat Tampa Bay, because it doesn't matter what we do for the last time. We have to beat Tampa Bay on Sunday. So till I see you Friday night, possibly Saturday morning with the Tampa preview, I'm Tim. Peace out. Who dat?